Hello, this is James Allen, also known around the web as Malveka. I'm the Chief Technology Officer, Head Architect, Lead Programmer, and Associate Executive Bottle Washer at Eccentric Orbits Entertainment. Here is a picture of me rendered by our lead artist and chief designer, Jandy Rowe. Notice the amazing piece of headgear I'm sporting. No matter what role I'm fulfilling at any given moment, this hat's got me covered. Today I'll be showing you a demonstration of our personal creativity app called Spiralocity. We call Spiralocity a personal creativity app because it is software developed with the aim of empowering individuals to bring into being beautiful works of visual art. Spiralocity does this in a new way by melding the mathematics of the spiral, the elegance of the touch interface, and the power of a leading 3D graphics engine. Using these elements, Spiralocity provides a powerful and novel set of tools for shaping form and light. The most important part, however, is not actually included with the product. It's you. And that is why we call it a personal creativity app. In this demo, we'll take a tour of the Spiralocity interface. The first thing I want to point out is the Help button. When we were developing Spiralocity, we felt it was very important to provide context-sensitive help that was immediately accessible without leaving the application. When you press the Help button, you enter Help mode. While in Help mode, you simply need to tap any of the controls that you see to get more information about them. If you want information about a slider, tap the knob. If you want information about the gestures that are available, just tap anywhere on the background. Note that while you're in help mode, tapping the controls will not affect the spiral at all, so there's no need to be concerned about accidentally changing it while you're getting help. Help mode is a great way to get up to speed quickly on using Spiralocity. When you're finished with help mode, just tap the back button. Now let's move on to our overview of the interface as a whole. There are four main sections that comprise the interface. In the center is the spiral viewing port. The bank of controls on the right are for changing the shape of the spiral. The bank of controls on the left are for applying effects to the spiral. Across the bottom are a set of controls that provide a variety of features. Let's talk more now about the spiral viewport here in the center. This is where you view the spiral you're currently creating. Changes made to any of the shape or effect controls are immediately reflected in this view. The viewport camera can be rotated, zoomed, and panned using gestures. To rotate the camera vertically around the spiral, swipe up or down the display. To bring the rotation to a halt, simply press and hold. In order to zoom in and out, use the standard pinch gesture. In order to demonstrate panning the camera, we'll first rotate around to a side view. To perform the pan, we use a three-finger drag motion, up and down. The next stop on our tour are the shape controls. These controls enable you to alter the size and shape of the spiral, as well as the particles that comprise it. The buttons surrounding the slider determine what aspect of the spiral is to be adjusted. The currently selected button is larger than the others and has a glow surrounding it. Moving the slider up and down changes the shape of the spiral according to which button is selected. Right now we're changing the number of arms in the spiral. If we wanted to change, say, the size of the opening in the middle of the spiral, we'd pick a different button and adjust it to our liking. We'll cover the remainder of the shape controls in more detail in a future demo. Now let's talk about the effect controls. In this section of the interface, we have a series of panels that control the style of the particles in use and support the application of special effects to the spiral. Right now we're looking at the particle shapes list. Here we can tap on the particle of our choice and have it applied to the spiral. This allows us to achieve a dramatic variety of looks for the spiral. Next up, we have the color tint effect. This allows us to set the color and brightness of the particles that are used in the spiral. Following the tint effect, we move on to the color wave panel. When this effect is active, a wave of colored particles is sent along the arms of the spiral. And below the color wave is the size wave. The size wave causes the size of the particles along the arms of the spiral to be animated in a repeating wave pattern. We can also apply a random color to the wave as it propagates. And finally, we come to the neon glow effect. For this effect, we're going to load a different spiral that better demonstrates the difference between having the glow effect enabled or not enabled. So here we have a spiral with the glow enabled. Now let's look at the same spiral with the glow turned off. As you can see, it's quite a difference. The effect being applied is a luminescent halo of light around each particle that makes up the spiral. Across the bottom of the screen are a set of controls that serve varying purposes. The Option button reveals a menu where you can load and save your spiral creations, as well as offering support for a handful of other features. The next three buttons are for controlling the camera. This button on the left will reset the camera to its default top-down view. The next button with the eye on it controls the current camera angle preset. Right now we're in the top-down view. Each time we tap this button, it will toggle to a different view. This is the 45-degree view, the side view, and here we have a custom user view. Whenever we set this to an angle that we like, it'll always recall the most recently set viewing angle. Finally, for the camera controls, we have the lock button. And when this button is active, we're no longer able to affect the camera by any gestures. Moving along to the right-hand side of the interface, we come to the button that has the same appearance as the Spiralocity logo. This is the Generate Random Spiral button. Each time it's pressed, a new spiral is generated with random shape settings. It's important to note that if you want to save the spiral you're currently working on, make sure and do that before you generate a new one. Another thing to be aware of is that the randomly generated spirals only have the shape settings changed. Any effect settings you may have previously applied will still be active. This enables you to try out a variety of spiral shapes without losing the effects you currently have configured. Using the Generate Spiral button is a great way to get a starting point for a spiral that you'd like to work on further, or to just see the amazing variety of effects that can be achieved by using Spiralocity. And that brings us back to the Help button, which we covered earlier in this demo. That brings us to the end of this video. In our next demo, we'll cover the shape controls in more detail and examine the process for creating a simple single-arm spiral. Until then, happy spiraling!